let's look at integrations. Integrations are an intricate and extremely important part of the chatbot experience. The right set of integrations makes all of the difference to both your chatbot users and the smoothness of your process. Before we dive any further, if you haven't yet, please make sure you watch my video on the Conversation Builder. Integrations and conversations go hand in hand, and it's really important to understand the first step of the puzzle before diving into this one. Alright, let's dig in. Like I said, integrations are a very important part of your chatbot. They save you time, ensure your chatbot is integrated within your existing processes, and help you take data in or out of your chatbot. The key advantage of the Ubesign platform is you can use it to integrate your chatbot with any third-party software. Whether you're using SuccessFactors, HubSpot, Salesforce, or even some obscure piece of software I've never heard of, you can integrate with it. That is because we give you within the platform all of the tools you need to set up your own integrations. We don't pretend to know what you and your business need. Instead, we work really hard to give you the tools to integrate what you need to integrate. When you first go to your integrations page, which is here on the left, you will see something like this. Nothing is set up. What we're going to do here is set up our first integration together. Before we do so, it's important to differentiate two types of integrations within the Ubesign platform. The first are logical integrations. Logical integrations affect how users are routed through the conversations. Here's an example. If your chatbot is helping customers buy a product, one integration could be to your e-commerce platform. This integration would ensure that your customer has indeed purchased the product before moving them forward to the next phase of the conversation. The second type of integrations are outbound integrations. These integrations send data to third-party services. For example, if your chatbot is helping candidates apply for a job, at certain points of the conversation, you might want to send their application to your application tracking system. With this in mind, let's set up one integration. If you're not a technical person, this might look crazy complicated. Just know that for developers, the process I'm going to go through right now is basically day one of programming school. If you're lost at any point trying to do this yourself, please reach out to your account manager for help. What we're going to do is set up a HubSpot integration. In this scenario, I'm going to pretend that I work at a website building agency and my chatbot is geared up to generate leads from my website. When users talk to it, my chatbot encourages them to talk to one of my salespeople and captures their information such as name, email address, and phone number. Once it has captured all of that information, I want my chatbot to send it all to HubSpot and create a lead. As you may have gathered, what we're going to build here is an outbound integration. Okay, so to do so, I will need a few things. First, I'm going to need the API information for the third-party software I'm going to integrate with, which is here HubSpot. With HubSpot, it's actually quite simple. They have a whole bunch of documentation, which I have open right here. So their HubSpot for developers has all of the information I need. So I'm going to keep that handy. So with that, I can add a new integration and start the process. So the first thing I'll need to do is give this integration a name. So in this case, I'm going to name it Send Leads to HubSpot. Perfect. The next thing I'm going to need is the base URL. Again, this should be super easy to find. For HubSpot here, if I scroll a little bit, it is right here. So I can grab this base URL all the way to objects and copy that into here. The next thing I'm going to need to do is choose an authorization method. With HubSpot, again, the easiest way to do this is with an API key. But as you can see here in this dropdown, there's other ways to integrate with them. You could do basic authentication, you could do a bearer token, or you could do no authentication at all. But here I'm going to use the API key because that's the best one with HubSpot. Finally, if I need to, I can set up some global HTTP headers. This is a bit more advanced, so I'm not going to get into it too much here, but it's available if you need it. Great. If we've got all of that, we can input all of the details, and that's step one done. I'll add our API keys and details off screen and hit save. Okay, so off camera, I have added our API keys to this integration, and now I can move on to step two. Step two of this process is setting up the endpoints. So once I click on endpoints here, as you can see, I can add a new endpoint, which allows me to send post, put, get, and delete requests to HubSpot. Again, fair bit of warning, if this looks too complex for you, we're here to help, so please reach out. In this instance, what I want to do is create a new contact when someone gives my chatbot their details. So looking at HubSpot API documentation, I want to find the contacts, endpoints, and scroll down to create. So here it is. We have the API documentation here for contacts, and I have scrolled down all the way to create a new contact, which you'll be able to find really, really easily. So here I have all of the details I need. It basically tells me that I need to create a post request to /contact folders to achieve what I need. HubSpot then even provide me with the format I need to use. So I can basically create a post request to HubSpot at contacts, perfect. And then the format that HubSpot give us is JSON here, or I've taken JSON here. So I can pick the JSON integration here, and I can basically copy paste all of this and put it in here. If I hit save now, I'm basically done. All I need to do is change the values in the quotation marks to variables I have set up in the eBSend platform, so that instead of the default Brian here, it actually sends the actual name of the person talking to my chatbot. Then I can save this endpoint and I'm done. Now we've created the integration. There are still two key steps missing. The first is variables. We obviously don't want to send these default fake details to HubSpot every time. We need to send actual data from the users. The second is we haven't tied this integration to any conversation. So let's do both now and wrap up this use case. First, I'll need to create the variables I need. So we wanted name, email address, and phone number. So I'm just going to go into the variables and I'm going to create those right now. So I'm going to call this name, close that, email, close that, and phone number. Okay, so now I've created three variables and I can use this in the integration. So I'm going to go back to the integrations, edit the endpoints, and I'm basically going to remove the ones that I don't really want to capture. So the company name I don't really care about, the last name I don't care about, and the website I don't care about. I just want to gather this information. So the email address, I can replace this default value as email. Perfect. And then similar thing with first name, which is going to be name. And then finally, phone number is going to be phone. Okay. And now I can save this. Now my integration is truly done. I can go to my conversation and set it all up properly. So I can close this. And I'll go to the conversation. I have set up a very simple conversation here at the bottom, which is generating leads. This conversation generates leads from website visitors. So if I edit this, you can see that the trigger doesn't really matter. This is just set up for demo purposes. But when someone says I want to buy, they'll basically go through this 3 steps conversation, capturing their name, their email address, their phone number, and then finally saying thank you. So the first thing we want to do is at every step of the way, we want to capture the variable, the user's response into a variable. So at the step of asking their name, we're going to set up the transition to save this message as the name. So this basically allows me to save whatever the user responds to this step into the variable name. So I'm going to save that. Okay, that's done. I'm going to obviously do that for the other 2. So email address, I'm going to go into transition, save as email this time. Save, this is saved, perfect. And then finally, phone capture, transition, save message as phone, save. Okay, so as you can see, we have these little lightning icon, which basically tell me that the transition from this step to the next step is going to save whatever the user says as a response to my message into the variable presented here. So name will be saved as name, email address will be saved as email, and phone number will be saved as phone number. Okay, so now the very last step, what I want to do is obviously send all of this information to HubSpot. Super easy. What I need to do is edit the last step and go into integrations. And here I can just add an integration. I obviously set up an integration before here in these videos. So this I'll select this one and I'll select post to contact and I'll save. All done. And now when someone goes through this whole conversation, we're going to capture their details, Send these details to HubSpot and we're all done. Hopefully this all made sense and gives you a good first-hand understanding of the integration feature in the Ubisend platform. As you realize, integrations will play a very important part in your chatbot. Ubisend's unique capability to integrate with any software, as long as they have an API, opens an infinite number of doors towards incredible chatbot experiences and maximum efficiencies.